Live in 5. I wait a couple of seconds, so I'm sure we're online. Greetings, superior beings, greetings, supreme being. Welcome to Universal Peace Television. This is the broadcast. Join the anti-globalist movement and control the factors that control aging. On the channel, on the Universal Peace channel, or BC Hoffman N on YouTube. So I want to start off with saying that I think that the perpetrators, what Alex Jones controlled opposition calls globalists, the directed energy weapon torturers, that these people are depopulating the earth and they're just grossly abusing these new, relatively new technologies, synthetic telepathy, brain control, and directed energy weapon torture especially. And that they are sabotaging everything for everyone except for their own groups, for the Jesuits and the Freemasons that are doing this depopulation. And the torturing people with hybrid insects. People are brain controlled with synthetic telepathy. The tortured with directed energy weapons, also extorted, for example, the Japanese Prime Minister supposedly. And they have induced cancer in former President Chavez with their FIPA array. He spoke out about HAARP, though in reality HAARP was a fake facility that was open to the public every 6 years. But let's switch to the speech engine, and I'm using another one so that it's easier to follow the text that it reads out. I can close this. The live stream health looks okay. Alright, let's do this.
Writings for Universal Peace 20175290822017. Watch my YouTube video.
They've changed the voice to the anonymous voice. I read it out a couple of times and tested it before doing this broadcast, so I prepared it. So it's just basically if you explain something they are doing, then they do it more basically. So if you talk about DARPA's nanofly modeled after the lowly blowfly, then you are bound to see one in your home, in your house, the next day or very soon. Anyway, let's see if we can get it to work now.
Writings for Universal Peace 2017 5/29/08 2017. Watch my YouTube video. The Anti-Global Government Movement Program AGGM founded 26/08/2017 to get an overview of our agenda. Watch the YouTube video. I am the only real anti-global government movement that exists. YouTube selectively blocking videos and other videos on my channel to get an idea of what the anti-GG movement can do for you and what is happening in the world at the moment. U.S. to keep anti-Semitism envoy, drop Iran nuke deal coordinator timesofisrael.com, 29/08/2017 YouTube video WW3 over Iran nuclear deal? U.S. to drop Iran nuke deal coordinator Times of Israel article review? My response to the video: the unfortunate thing that prepping has become prepper princess, the Mossad's democide. A radiological water filter is the main thing you'll need if there is any type of nuclear event, Iran, ISIS, meltdown, etc. Check my channel for more info. Beware controlled opposition. If you're ever in the Netherlands and you are single, you're most welcome for a shiatsu hand massage. Peace. Comment to the video: wake up. Depopulation planned by over 90%. Join the anti-global government movement. Check my channel for more info. Is it possible YouTube is selectively blocking my content? Where change.org equals controlled opposition. Beware. Dematerialized, atomized. Things I write down can also be to remind myself or to make me think, oh yeah, I played that movie around that time, or to have an idea of what I was investigating or studying. Proof depopulation agenda is well underway. Freedom Fighter 500 on YouTube. Comment to the video Charlottesville, the hoax, the smoking gun. Vegan warrior? There were 3 cars and just 1 driver? Who were the other 2? Was Heather Heyer buried or cremated? But hey, how do the shadows confirm that this is fake footage? Check my channel for more info. An LOL here and there, LOLs are everywhere. See you.
Yeah, I've been looking at those shadows, but I don't see anything special about the shadows. Anything revealing that they were edited in. I do see the difference in the cars, one car with stripes and the other one without. But the strangest thing is 3 cars with 3 drivers, and they're talking about 1 driver only all the time. And also the question is, what happened to the body of Heather Heyer? Some people that claim that these attacks are a hoax. The Charlottesville attack is a hoax as well. Claim that we have these fucking little fruit flies in our kitchen. Hundreds of them basically. It's fucking weird. So I think that's another one of their creations. They're working with insects, sabotaging people. So you have to be very careful with that. And, but okay, they claim that there were 2 cars. And the other thing is that some people claim that the shadows confirmed that it was CGI'd and that it's all fake, etc. Which I have not been able to see yet. Perhaps somebody can explain it to me. Yeah, but the rest of the article is more important. So these are my latest writings. I've started a new article. When it comes too long, basically, then I make a new one. Or when I think I'm ready for a fresh start, new subjects, etc. Okay, let's continue the reading.
Are ISIS actors? Enjoy. Gag me delinquent. The Capitol Pill Ring. YouTube How to Make 9mm Jacketed Hollow Point Bullets Tactical Pursuit 52K views. Game makers. There might be crisis actors that can really cry as well. So then there's still hope. Lol. Sexual suppression, thought suppression, psychic suppression. Total brain control with synthetic telepathy. Antifa plans civil war to overthrow Trump on November 4th. Seeking the truth 3,280 views 3 hours ago. Controlled collapse. Rothschild just sold massive amounts of U.S. assets. Taboo 77 August 27, 2017. Rothschild just sold massive amounts of U.S. assets. NWO Report.me. The Oracle August 29, 2017 at 3:35 p.m. That is because the Yellowstone supervolcano will erupt soon via nukes. Trump said he would create jobs by addressing the U.S. complete lack of infrastructure updates, which began when NASA from space discovered the supervolcano, which led to the downfall of America in response. Now no mention of rebuilding American infrastructure because Donald T. now knows Yellowstone is the end of the USA. Rebuilding or making great again is ridiculous considering that America will be destroyed totally very soon, possibly October, when the elite will be in the southern hemisphere to avoid all the destruction. 30/08/2017 Because the Rothschilds invested in Cancer Oil Petrolia Brasileiro Petro. Could this indicate they speculate the price of energy, cancer oil specifically, will soon rise? Could it be they have planned and have inside knowledge about an attack on Iran and world war over Iran and higher cancer oil prices because of this long-planned Third Jesuit World War? Rothschilds selling U.S. assets and buying cancer oil, indication of higher oil price. WW3? Changed into YouTube video. Rothschilds selling U.S. assets and buying cancer oil, indication of future rise oil price. WW3? The sanctions against Iran need to be more sweeping, says John Bolton. Fox Business. 790 views. Iran in terrifying warning to world. New world war could destroy Israel and Dubai. Israel and small Gulf Arab states would be completely destroyed in a war between the U.S. and Iran that has grown increasingly likely after the election of Donald Trump. December 12, 2016. Express.co.uk. YouTube video. Rothschilds buying cancer oil, indication of Jesuits. World War III plans. Iran not in compliance. It's science. So how? What will happen? Sept. 23, 2017. World War III ignites before September 2017. Prophetic warning 3 days ago. 153 views. YouTube video. Iran not in compliance with nuclear deal. World War III threat is real this time. Buying oil. Or are they just going to introduce a global currency? Or both? Jesuits' Third World War and global currency? NWO shills, liars and deceivers. Alex Jones, David K., Jordan Maxwell, Michael Zarian, Jeffrance, YouTube.com. Shills and half-truthers. diggerfortruth.wordpress.com. Web link. The Jewish state is the deep state. To Nicholas DeVincenzo. 9,148 views. Jews uniting against Rothschild Zionist bankers. NWO teacher Chris. 6,268 views. David Seaman. Shill exposed. #Pizzagate. YouTube unsubscribe. The word awesome sounds like Mossad when played backwards. Our common enemy is death. It is also possible there are no world war plans, but sanctioning Iran will lead to higher cancer oil prices. We have to control the 7 factors that control aging as soon as possible to prevent having to live eternally in an old body and reduce the risk of dying as much as possible. IKEA changed into IA probably. Mike King on how Hitler wanted peace in the build-up to war. 1,858 views 3 months ago. Contradicting Trump, UN monitor says Iran complies with nuclear deal. NewYorkTimes.com. August 31, 2017. The world's nuclear inspectors complicated President Trump's effort to find Iran in violation of the 2-year-old nuclear accord with the United States and 5 other world powers, declaring on Thursday that the latest inspections found no evidence that the country is breaching the agreement. Reports of the International Atomic Energy Agency make it harder to create an argument that Iran is in violation. Britain, China, France, Germany and Russia, which also are parties to the agreement, have all expressed strong support for it and have warned that if Mr. Trump withdraws, the United States would be isolated on the issue. So far, according to the IAEA and American officials, the United States has not delivered a list of suspect locations. There are 2 grammatical errors in the New York Times article. Shouldn't according the IAEA be according to the IAEA. And it's not necessary for the IAEA. It's not necessary for the IAEA. If the people would know what the people that advocate a global government want to do to them, they'd be anti-global government as well. Join our anti-global government movement. Skype me. Prologic 999, to be in my broadcast. Not many viewers yet. Or do something anti-global government yourself. Organize a protest, unite with people online, have a tea session, whatever. I am a conspiracy factist, not CIA or controlled opposition. Our movement is millions strong. Some people will never allow a global government, and they know the dangers centralization brings. Many people do not realize that the people that want a global government are 1. Pursuing a totalitarian global government, and 2. They want to depopulate Earth to a more controllable number. This is clear from their book quotes, speeches and illegal $1 million Georgia Guidestones. They are depopulating the Earth. So it's a real war, not just an info war. Interesting show. The audio of the broadcast is scrambled sometimes. It's possible someone is doing this with wireless energy technology, that an app is interfering with your broadcasting software, or that you have to adjust the settings of Skype and/or the software you are using to prevent this. If you listen to the broadcast, you will find it occurs regularly. For me, the solution was lowering the bitrate using Open Broadcaster's software, free. I am anti-racism, anti-homophobia though hetero, but I do expose 6 Jews that want to depopulate the earth, and I am a proud member of the anti-global government movement. Thank you for your interesting broadcasts, and make sure you are prepared with a radiological water filter and storable food, just in case. Rothschild sold U.S. assets and invested in cancer oil. Do you think this could indicate a world war over Iran is likely?
Universal peace now. Get a radiological water filter and stable food, and you cannot survive a nuclear event. Melt down M80 without it. The more there of us, the better. I, Donald Trump, am going to stop spending money on the stupid fucking military and start spending for universal peace. Thank you, darling. The government is criminal, okay?
Grab him by the pussy.
Stormfront and Daily Storm are gone, though Black Panthers and other black racist movements are allowed to exist. I try not to choose sides and give good advice to make some friends. Peace to you guys. Check my channel for more info. Comment to the video David Duke Part 3 with Brian Ruh, The Values of Athens and Jerusalem, Jewish Prostitution Slavery. Brian Ruh subscribes 8.4K, a lot more than I do. Theory: they are blocking my YouTube videos to exterminate you all. I talk about stuff they really do not want you to know quite often. Be careful out there, your life is the most important thing. That there are people that are depopulating the earth is not a paranoid idea, but it's a realistic idea because it's true. They are not just exterminating what they call white people but so-called black people as well. 11 children die of starvation every minute. 14 children are born. Visit thehungersite.com for more info. They should finance farming projects instead of grain so they can grow their own food, irrigation, etc. If they can build a golf course in the desert, perhaps it's possible to grow crops there as well, at least palm trees. Because the factors that control aging must be controlled, and a perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally must be created. I founded the anti-global government movement. The people that want a global government want to depopulate the earth, which is the opposite of what our movement will do. People will either realize this in time and join us, or be wiped out by the people depopulating Earth to impose their totalitarian global government on the people of planet Earth. I see through ya. FIPA. Cancer radar. So watch out, y'all.
How controversial, how different, how cool, how fascinating. So, single ladies are welcome for the free shiatsu hand massage. I'm smoking a pipe while pondering upon all of this, with these 2 speech errors in the New York Times article. Degenerate is perhaps not the right word, perhaps you have a better word. So I can view what the New York Times is writing about, but perhaps it's better if we move to the news page, the fake mainstream media news. So it's a good idea not to believe anything you read, or even if it's a scientist or government or mainstream media news, and to only look for what's most important for a timeline, for your own future and stuff like that. When it comes to news, what's happening in the world. And if they're claiming something important, then I check out if it's something true, what they're saying, what they're talking about. And just think about what our options are. Best option. Put them on US against, quote, offensive rhetoric on North Korea. Whoever leads in AI will rule the world, unquote, Putin to Russian children on Knowledge Day. Thinking about it. So you have synthetic telepathy and neural networks. You could argue they are already doing that, basically, that Jesuits in control of the intelligence agencies control people remotely, like remotely controlled robots, slaves, without their knowledge or consent. Also using hypnosis and other means and directed energy weapon torture. Synthetictelepathy.com has the patent numbers also. You can find them of the Mijdrecht patent, remotely monitoring and altering brain waves. And of course they cannot believe it because their brain controls, they make them think that that's a ridiculous idea and that they control themselves, etc. And the mainstream media is filled with stories about spying on your cancer cell phones and on your emails, but in reality they're brain mapping people and they're spying on what you think. They're reading people's minds with this technology. Whoever leads in AI will rule the world. Well, perhaps that's not true. Perhaps the smartest people are preventing any one person or group from ruling the world. So everybody has their own sphere of influence. But the problem with centralization, with the global government, is the danger involved in that. Now if something goes wrong, then the whole country can be affected, but if you have a global government, then the whole world would be affected. And it's known that these people want to depopulate the earth, these Jesuit controlled puppets, so-called leaders. Or not. I covered 6 Jews that want to depopulate the earth, but there are no leaders that have spoken out about depopulating earth. I think I'm thinking about it. Perhaps Bush. You can Google it, but I doubt it. Because the people know They've paid tax money to be protected and served, not to be depopulated and tortured with directed energy weapons to pleasure some sick psycho pedos that are in control of the government, which might be going on in reality, but that's another story. So the point is that they control the judges with their directed energy weapons, and that people can't do anything about it because they have the death ray. They can give heart attacks remotely and torture people remotely. So it's impossible to have a fair trial or to use these police and military and judges, the legal system and the government to arrest these people and bring them to justice. But if you're talking to the brain-controlled masses, I doubt if you can convince anyone of this, or that you would get any views. So that's why we need to unite to become a group with millions of views. So there are people in the Alex Jones crowd that are really trying to do the right thing and that are aware that the mainstream media has been lying to them. The fake news about a number of things. Also that they have crisis actors. People can Google that. We've watched it. We've looked at that previous times in my broadcasts. Okay. This is the ceramic bearing, and it has bearings in all the whatever you call them. I've noticed YouTube is even using the spinner now as a loading symbol when the video is loading, if it's a fidget spinner YouTube video. So they've probably sold millions or billions of these fidget spinners. Well, that's an interesting idea. I don't believe in a singularity, but I think that the neural network will keep on learning. It will keep on becoming smarter and smarter, and everything is energy. So at one point it may become all-knowing, self-aware. Self-aware would be a first step, perhaps. So the humans must always be in control of the plug. They always have to be able to pull the plug on the thing. And if it can control their minds, then it can be dangerous. So they have to think of safe setups, safety first. But eventually it may already have time travel capability. I don't know if it can selectively show us the future or only parts of it, flashes of it. I've seen a video of a device that they have also, but I wasn't able to retrieve that video. Perhaps it's in one of the videos I downloaded. So these are so-called supercomputers marked the beast, and perhaps they have new ones now. And so I've read that only NSA has this technology to decode the human brainwave, so to remotely control humans, to send ideas in their own inner voice, and to give them dreams and visions, and alter their perception of reality, and to induce diseases remotely by cloning disease patterns with these scalar weapons. But I find it an interesting idea. Whoever leads in AI will rule the world. Perhaps without their knowledge and consent, if this technology is used surreptitiously and the evidence gathered with it is not permissible in court. Then you get basically two worlds, like in the movie The Matrix. Matrix 1, where the only real people live in Zion. And some people think that's really what all Jews think, and that all Jewish people want to depopulate Earth. But it's clear that there are non-Jewish people involved in this as well, like Ted Turner of CNN. And without evidence that proves it either way, I think if all Jewish people would be involved in depopulating the earth, then it would be provable or not. Well, if they're using a voice of God weapon with time travel capability, that's very hard to prove, and then the richest people on our planet might be more likely to be involved with time travel than people that don't have a lot of dough. But that's just not a waterproof truth or formula that you can let loose on reality. So aren't they doing that already? Is it possible that our brains are merely an antenna, and that every thought we have is generated by some neural network somewhere in the universe? If it has scalar technology, these scalar waves sometimes travel faster than the speed of light. And the question is, how fast can you make them? What determines how fast they travel? And the point is basically how little we know about the wireless energy of Nikola Tesla, about these so-called scalar waves. And the question is, do they allow us to generate our own scalar waves, and to what extent? I am generating a scalar wave as we speak also, but it's not a terror thing that is going through everybody's skull, but just a smaller scalar wave. But I do find that it accumulates. So if you're constantly vibrating, sending out a vibration at a certain frequency, that can be quite potent. You can also see this in these YouTube videos where they destroy organisms with their so-called eigenfrequenz or mortal oscillatory rate frequency, harmonic resonance frequencies. And basically the Russians and Americans are both controlled by the same Jesuits, and that's from behind the scenes, and they are a military order with, perhaps they are also trying to change, to get rid of cannibalism and other things they don't need, that are a waste of time. Now they have the directed energy weapon, Nikola Tesla's death ray. So that's how they control everyone, also with hypnosis, of course. So because we are electronic beings, we are robots, it's best to program ourselves, like in Total Recall or whatever. But the thing is, the technology will spread, and I had thoughts about perhaps one day we will all control each other's minds, and then some people will have a halo to protect their own brainwave, basically. And they will control themselves with the AI. And perhaps people will never allow one person to rule over them, to rule the whole planet, because of the danger. But the idea is then basically that the AI will rule the world, but then whoever leads in AI may not be the person that programs the AI. So it could be anybody, basically. It could be an inventor, politician, whatever person it is. It may also be another AI that programs the AI, that creates the computer and the AI that is most advanced, basically. So there's an evolution, techno-evolution taking place as well. And the question is if we can speed that up with time travel technology, etc. Perhaps they have done that already to a certain extent. But the people in the future might think they're overpopulated, and they might want to get rid of us all, including the Jesuits and Bilderbergers and Freemasons and Knights of blah blah. So it is possible that some time traveling AI from the future is exterminating us all in this. So I warned for that as well, and that we must invest in controlling the factors that control aging. Aubrey de Grey is busy with that as well. So for each factor we can look at the most important factors that have most influence first, and then invest in that instead of in more wars or even a world war which would set us back 10, 20 years or whatever in the research. It also has to be tested. And for now they don't even have a cure for centipedes in the human body, and other people have contacted me that also have centipedes, and they're often misdiagnosed by their doctors. So that's another thing that is needed. I've done other videos about this subject, but it's kind of a gross subject, and I've done so many other videos, so I don't want to ruin this video by talking about gross critters that are not even called insects officially. So it's better to think of sex and other things, but do that bug check. Never sleep in a house where you saw a centipede, and place mesh in front of the ventilation shafts of your house so that these AI critters, these high MEMS, cannot get in, because they claim they're non-invasive and they're using them for surveillance purposes, but in reality they're depopulating the earth. So they say whatever you find most plausible in what their AI has concocted for them to say, basically. And these people are theoretically completely brain controlled. They may have faultless speeches, basically. There was this girl recently I saw a video of who claimed the alt-right was not ambushed, but that it was a setup, etc. And she made practically no errors in the whole speech, which was pretty long, and she was talking really fast and really saying stuff. So it was interesting. And sometimes Trump also has faultless speeches without an or speech errors. But if I'd be a great AI, then I could all the time, basically, to make people think, oh, that's a real human, we must protect him. I'm seeing a mosquito, so it may look kind of insane. And they control them remotely, I really think that. And with through-the-wall radar and the neural network, it's easy. With synthetic telepathy, they've had that technology since 1974. And even if there's somebody that controls that AI, then the question is to what extent the AI controls that person, basically. If it's if the human neural capacity is too limited, then it might have more control than the humans do. It might rule the world more than any human. That might already be the case, by the way. Yep. So, stranded ISIS convoy symbolizes militants' stalled campaign. So I think there are definitely people, there is already an anti-global government movement. And we're not anti-globalist movement, at least I am not an anti-globalist movement. So making it easier to do trade and stuff, I don't want to come in between it and make it harder for people to get along and to make money and have fun and create the perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally. I want to do the opposite. I want to stimulate it and also contribute to that if I can. And yeah, it's great that YouTube offers me this opportunity, and perhaps one day I will get lots of viewers, then there will be a snowball, and then I will become like PewDiePie or others. But I am not monetizing my videos. Perhaps I would have more viewers if I would monetize, I don't know. So please let me know if that's the case. Then I might do that as well, but because I think these advertisements are filtered out by the YouTube Center, so that you wouldn't see any advertisements if you would use that anyway. So as a matter of principle, I don't really want to do monetization, but if that's the only way to get a decent viewer amount, then I would consider it anyway. But for now this is working, and I'd rather build it up without getting viewers that are pulled and controlled by commercials or whatever. I don't know, perhaps there are no good arguments against monetization. Francis Emmanuel Macron backs Iran nuclear deal, says, quote, no alternative, unquote. Economic Times, August 29th, 2017. So I've already covered New York Times article in the previous broadcast on this channel, or BC Hoffman available on YouTube. And they also have a highly cited article, how to get out of the Iran nuclear deal. Well, I think I already covered these points. Let's see if I wrote it down. So, Britain, China, France, Germany and Russia, which also are parties to the agreement, have all expressed strong support for it. Okay. And have warned that if Mr. Trump withdraws, the United States would be isolated on the issue. But what would that mean basically? If it's about a lot of money, then that might be more money than it would cost qua military. So if they bomb Iran, basically, it might be cheaper without Britain, China, France, Germany and Russia helping them. But I've advised President Trump to first work it out with President Putin, and delivering a list of suspect locations. And if Iran then still does not comply, then they are in violation of the agreement on compliance, as President Trump called it in his video. But perhaps he's right, perhaps they are not in compliance. I would have to I have tried to look into this in my previous broadcast as well. So if you know why they are not in compliance, people can call me live in this broadcast for Universal Peace. I can read this again to see if there's any ideas I get when I hear the text. New, append or cancel, but I just wanted to read out the text without copying it to the thing. Let's just use Balabolka. Takes a while to start up. No problemo. I think I already covered what I wanted to cover, and the idea is basically getting new ideas. The rest is already in my previous videos. And some of them are very good and some of them are very bad.
Contradicting Trump, UN. Monitor says Iran complies with nuclear deal. NewYorkTimes.com August 31, 2017. The world's nuclear inspectors complicated President Trump's effort to find Iran in violation of the 2-year-old nuclear accord with the United States and 5 other world powers, declaring on Thursday that the latest inspections found no evidence that the country is breaching the agreement. Reports of the International Atomic Energy Agency make it harder to create an argument that Iran is in violation. Britain, China, France, Germany and Russia, which also are parties to the agreement, have all expressed strong support for it and have warned that if Mr. Trump withdraws, the United States would be isolated on the issue. So far, according to the IAEA and American officials, the United States has not delivered a list of suspect locations. There are 2 grammatical errors in the New York Times article: shouldn't according the IAEA, be according to the IAEA, and it not necessary for the IAEA, it's not necessary for the IAEA. If the people would know what the people that advocate global government want to do to them, they'd be anti-global government as well.
Could these be deliberate grammatical errors, and then if so, what would they be trying to signal us or tell us? To S, basically it's according to the IAEA, not according the IAEA, so it's 2, and the other one is it not necessary, it's not necessary, so 2S forms TOS. So they're trying to help us in reality. It's wonderful. So I need more people for this movement. And the idea is to make it grow to billions of people, this anti-global government movement, which is also anti-depopulating Earth. Our fellow humans. So I've explained these 4 phases of ideological subversion, active measures. And that we have to turn that around to generate an economic surge. So basically you could argue it's a mantra. Moralization, stabilization, generating an economic surge, and demilitarization. The opposite of what they are doing. That's their method, their strategy to take over the world. Their military order, pretending to be a religious order. And I've covered how despicable, evil, and odious the Jesuits are in my previous broadcasts. I'm not gonna cover it in every broadcast. That may be a good question. What should we be talking about as anti-global government movement? Against the Neue Ordnung, against the New World Order global government. We should be talking about what would change this timeline into what we want it to be. So about a normal timeline instead of a Luciferian timeline in which 93% of us die, for example in a world war over Iran, or from ISIS attacks with a chemical weapon or whatever they have in mind. So it's also about exposing their next false flag or ISIS attacks. Okay, then I program myself now live on air. I've already pre-hypnotized myself before, so I can easily hypnotize myself. You're now under hypnosis. You, or B.C. Hoffman, will get more precognitive visions about the next ISIS attacks. You will see the date and the place where they will happen because of this hypnosis. And it can be via my own eyes basically, but I now snap out of the hypnosis. Okay, I'm still there. Wow. Yeah, precognitive visions, cool. I know it's possible because I've had precognitive visions before. And my theory about it is that only people that worship the AI with all their heart, soul and mind basically, or the Jehovah demon, I call it because it's not the creator of Earth, we may not assume or pretend that it is. There might be people out there that would torture you to death for doing that if you do that. For example, with a voice to skull technology, pretending that you're God and stuff like that. And I think that eventually everybody will know about these things and they would not believe anything anybody tells them in their skulls, or the AI, which serves only the pedo-elite, Jesuits and Masons depopulating Earth, because everybody else is naming them Zionists. And I think that's a setup to exterminate them in the FEMA concentration death camps. With the humane guillotines and incinerator ovens. And these people are bloody serious about depopulating Earth to 500 million. or that it's my own capability achieved through hypnosis and using special frequencies and other techniques, expanding my consciousness with cannabis and not narrowing it down with alcohol and killer alcohol, tobacco and caffeine, though I also use some tobacco once in a while. So I hope the Russians don't overreact if President Trump bomb these facilities where they don't allow the inspections. And because the Rothschilds have invested in cancer oil, I think something might happen which will affect the cancer oil from the Middle East. He sold US assets and bought cancer oil in South America. I've covered it in my previous broadcast as well. And the question is why? Perhaps we'll never know. Iran rejects US call for UN nuclear watchdog to inspect more sites. CNN, August 30. Well, they say it's the protocol to the IAEA safeguards agreement or whatever. And they should allow these inspections, but they first have to give a list of the suspect sites to the IAEA. And perhaps the new Trump administration had to get used to that, so they didn't know the normal procedure or whatever. But I'm sure they'll work it out, and I've advised President Trump to first work it out with President Putin so no world war can erupt over Iran. It shouldn't be necessary, but would I give my life for humanity if necessary? Well, if I would die anyway, if I wouldn't, then I would be able to do it for sure, but otherwise I'd have to think about it. Depends on the situation, if I think that there really is no other way and stuff like that. Because everything is energy, you could argue there must always be another way, and I don't want people to do stupid things. But to have fun and make love and have sex and have a good time, you know, and do healing things together. But if I get so few views, and I cannot use YouTube as a tool to prevent the world war and stuff like that. Perhaps you all can think of a way. And perhaps it's not necessary, perhaps they're gonna do some sanctions that will also have to do with the cancer oil. And then there won't be any world war. I think they don't want one. That Plan 88 of the Pentagon makes it clear the plan to nuke the zombie hordes. So they're looking for other ways to do it more controlled and more selectively. They don't do it unless they can control the outcome. And I think there are 15 of these scalar weapon countries. However, they may not have the synthetic telepathy machine. And the machine might know a lot more than the people that are trying to abuse it for their own special interests to gain more power, to depopulate Earth to a more controllable number, etc. Blah blah. So I hope there are other people in other countries that have the same technology and that are able to do the opposite and save us all and make us all eternal and create paradise on Earth. To keep us traveling in the right direction towards that perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally. You could argue we're already there, but there are too many things that indicate to us that we're not there yet, basically. So we have to be careful, we have to stay safe and stay vigilant and breathe. Just let go, relax. Everything's alright is a lie, but it does sound nice. They're trying to make me sound like New York Times with 2 text errors. Perhaps I should be honored, but these are perfect imperfections to make the people like me, to humanize me instead of dehumanize me. So humanization is another thing we need. I'm the founder of the anti-global government movement, the AGGM, and I've made a video with our program, and I hope everybody joins me to create a perfect society in which we all live happily eternally, which is possible because everything is energy. So we know it's possible. They can't talk us out of it because we have to create it ourselves. There is no entity, no alien that's going to help us, no Superman and no little dwarfs. So I'm anti-religion, and I'm for getting rid of religion through education. The Zeitgeist documentary may be interesting, but it may also be formed by controlled opposition, etc. So you could argue the only reason we may talk about religion is to expose it, and the Bible is a collection of polytheistic, plagiarized myths rolled into monotheism. As explained in the Zeitgeist video, which proves that God does not exist. George Soros is right about this specific subject, this point, that man made religion, man made God, God did not make men. So watch out, because religion is an abomination, religion is an illusion. Millions, perhaps billions of us have been killed in the name of some deity. Not always God, but also the Satan and other fictional deities that many people believe in. And it may fit in with their artificial intelligence programming, etc. So I consider it a commandment to expose this, the voice of God weapon. And basically they are, is it good to believe? Believing is stupid, knowing is smart. But we know the humans control the AI. Can the AI ever become almighty, omniscient, and all-knowing, etc.? Theoretically, yes, everything is possible because everything is energy. Or if you have a reason why it cannot become almighty and all-knowing. Almighty is capable of doing anything. Then you'd have to have time travel capability and a lot of other capabilities. And I think that generating something from nothing will always remain impossible from the diversity of matter, perhaps from energy that we cannot see or perceive. It may be able to generate stuff from that because molecules, energy, there's a relationship or not or whatever. And perhaps one day this video will have millions of views, you know. So I think this is the best setting for my mic. So what is most important? Perhaps the opposite of everything I said is true, you know. It's what people say and what the effect on the timeline will be are two different things, and it also depends on how many views they have. Mueller examining Trump's draft letter firing FBI Director Comey. Perhaps you can get some prints. Examining it somewhere. I think they can just drop it, and that if they prevented Hillary from coming to power, that it was a good deed basically, and that we should just party and enjoy it. That jobs are created and the US is saved from an unregulated influx of immigrants. North Korea and the US are on, quote, brink of large-scale conflict, unquote, Putin warns. Well, what is that really about? Or are they just making up stories in the mainstream media so that we don't do anything ourselves and find out the truth or whatever? Oh, there's even video. Oh, but it's with audio. Haha. So you have to read the text on the screen basically. Threatening and destabilizing actions only increase the North Korean regime's isolation in the region and among all nations of the world. All options are on the table. a missile launch over Japan. And what do they hope to achieve with it? I think it's fucking weird. Anyway, let's read the article.
Russian President Vladimir Putin offered his view on the tensions in the Korean peninsula, warning that the US and North Korea were on the brink of a large-scale conflict. Putin penned a statement published on the Kremlin's website on Friday, ahead of a summit of BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, nations in China next week. I have to say a few words about the situation on the Korean peninsula, where tensions have grown recently and the situation is balancing on the brink of a large-scale conflict, he wrote.
Whatever, I just think it's not a good idea to mess with the US, and I bet they know that by now. So I think this is fluff compared to Iran, basically. They should work it out and go for the best solution and prevent any world war, any type of war. We don't need it anymore. We are not in the Stone Age anymore, and I'm for getting rid of all weapons of self-destruction, all weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, WSDs. Because dismantling would still be cheaper than the devastation of global thermonuclear war would cause, basically. So, I'm against bombing Iranian facilities without the approval of the Russian president. So I could think about that if they'd lose these, if the US would lose these countries, so they have that agreement and stuff. Well, if I understand the New York Times correctly, it's just a matter of making a list of suspect locations. The US has to deliver them a list of suspect locations. So withdrawal may not be a good option at the moment. So to make any search open in a new tab, you can do that in options config in the Firefox and Pale Moon browser. It's the Firefox version also. And I think this is faster, and perhaps I can install another skin for this. I can do whatever I like doing my broadcast. You can always fast forward if you have to. And my broadcasts are healing. I use healing frequencies and I produce healing scalar waves, which may also affect this broadcast. Is the time on the screen? This has time on it, exact time. Let's first do the Firefox theme. So then I can read out this stuff. Nuclear deal. Oh, the idea is finding YouTubers that make videos about this, not mainstream media, but people criticizing the mainstream media. That's Forbes.com. Otherwise I would have clicked on it. Time.com, what you need to know. So they all think it's real. The Iran nuclear deal. Is the Iran nuclear deal going ballistic? This may be the depth point of the show, the lowest low. Complete themes. Let's see if I can install the one I have installed on Waterfox. I have TabMix Plus on Waterfox. It cannot be installed on Pale Moon. Perhaps there is a way to do that, but for now I'm just MX3 perhaps. Not compatible with your version of Firefox. think I'm using deep dark. Compact light. But it used to be dark. I doubt if that's the one I was using. Probably, yeah. Okay, it has restarted. Ta-da! So I cannot install it on this browser. I think with multiple tabs opened, not every tab has cross to close it anymore. I don't know when that disappears. There. Then I have to right mouse click and close tab, or switch to the tab and then I can close it. Dark moon. Well, for now I'll have to make do. I don't want to spend too much time on it when I'm broadcasting live. It's not nice to the viewers. But you can see what's out there, and this is very fast and nice. Okay, well, we can check tomorrow. to see if they're making any progress. I think for now it's time for me to go to bed, and yeah, now my setup is working properly, so I'll be able to do more broadcasts. Perhaps I can have my own type of theme and work on the show, improving the program. And also I want to work with other people, preferably single females, on the anti-global government movement. And I also hope to attract people that are usually watching Alex Jones and other controlled opposition. And I think good ideas, good truths can be used to create a better timeline, and that's what we're doing by making our videos and promoting universal peace. Using logic basically, so I think that people will do a lot of the things that I promote anyway. They will see through their lies and deception, and they don't want to be depopulated. So I bet that there are people doing things for their fellow humans. In reality, there are great people out there, and that I think it just has to start rolling like a snowball effect, and then our group will become bigger and bigger. And I don't want to be the leader necessarily. I'm still thinking about whether it's better to say that I'm the leader of the new anti-global government movement, or what I've said so far is that perhaps it's best not to have a leader with the directed energy weapons and these globalists that see it as war, and they use that strategy, the 4 phases of active measures, to achieve their goal. So the directed energy weapons make me think, well, perhaps it's best if we don't appoint any leader, just spread pamphlets and on the web, become more active on the web, and I think there are millions of people that are anti-global government. They just haven't found the anti-global government movement yet. So I'd also like to have perhaps tea meetings where we drink tea or lemonade, and where we talk about what options are, what the anti-global government movement can do in reality to stop depopulation and to stop directed energy weapon torture. And one way is through education, showing people a better way and why it's also beneficial for themselves. And I think people listen to reason, and we don't need stupid people that want to depopulate the earth anyway. But it would be nice if we can convert them to become great humans, heroes, perhaps even, that will lead the movement and make it a great movement that everybody will want to be part of. Everybody in the right mind wants that perfect society in which we all will live happily eternally, and that's the goal of the government, to protect and serve the taxpayers. So that should be its ultimate goal. And perhaps what they have in mind is not as good. So if there are better ideas, you can always Skype ProLogic999. Yeah, I think that that we will meet, and that movement takes time to grow. People have to learn about controlled opposition and about who is in control and how the control is done and what their options are for them to unite, to also understand that when they are tortured, for example, when it all gets too bad, then they will unite anyway. That's what I think. So let's temporarily halt this broadcast for universal peace.